Hello, Gary Hernandez here, and welcome to Cane Self-Defense with Master Gary Hernandez. I had an email from a gentleman by the name of Jeremy, and Jeremy had a simple, direct question. He saw the photo of the derby-style canes that I have a collection of, and he wanted to ask a simple, direct question, and that was, out of all the derby canes that I have, which one do I like the best, and what's a derby cane that's going to be really good for self-defense, yet carrying with you every day? That is, the big question here was, under $100. He didn't want to spend over $100 on a cane. He wanted something under $100 that looks good, that he's going to like, that I felt was also a good cane for self-defense. Well, that's pretty simple. Out of all the derby style canes I have, and I have quite a few, and of course there is the gray man, I like that one, but that's a cane that's designed completely different because it has the detachable breakaway glass breaker. But that obviously is not under $100. So the one that I like the best for under $100 is simply this one right here. Now this is the octagonal cane from DNR Woodwork, and it's got the nice lines to it. And I'm going to explain why I like this cane a lot. Now, number one, this cane is extremely light. It's made out of cherry. It's cherry wood. It is about 1 pound and 1 ounce. That's it. So it's extremely light. Easy to pick up, so if you're a little bit older, or you have an injury, or you're smaller, it's an easy cane to pick up. It's an easy cane to maneuver. Now, it is a very beautiful cane. Nice wood finish on this one here, and again, octagonal. So we have all these edges. I'm going to explain these edges a little bit more into detail in just a second, why I like them. Now, for a derby style cane, not only is it extremely elegant looking, but it's, number one, fully functional. Like I said, this cane's very light, and that matters when you need to pick it up and be very fast with it. So if I'm sitting here and I got somebody coming in, it's a fast cane. Doesn't take a lot to pick up. Again, it's only 1 pound and 1 ounce. That's it. Now, it's attached. This derby style is attached extremely well. Not exactly sure what the process Don does, but I know there is dowel rods built into this thing. It is also, besides the rod being put into it, it is heavily secured with an epoxy that makes sure that this does not crack, break, or come off. And I've beaten the tar out of this thing on this bag and other bags, and this solid. So you're not gonna, people that are worried about kind of a 2-sectional cane, the derby style, or anything that's built in, it's not going to come off. Now, this cane is under $100. It is $85, but you have to understand this is handmade by DNR Woodworks. It is super strong, yet extremely light. So you have a great cane to carry around with you that will support your weight. You can be 250, 275 easily. This supports your weight. It is extremely strong when you have to defend with it as well, no matter what end you're striking with. And again, this does not crack. Don't get me wrong, any cane will break under a certain amount of stress. We know that. But in your everyday travels and having to defend yourself against an average person, you got no problem with this. Now, what I talked about liking about these lines is the fact that your round canes are great, but here when I swing it octagonal here, I'm going to get a bite on somebody. No matter how I hit, I'm going to get a bite on it. Number two, because of the design, I don't have to have hand grooves built into it because I can lock around really easily with this design and it doesn't slide. Now, we've always talked about, 100 times I've talked about why I like the derby style for various reasons. And everybody knows that I do call this part the hammer and I call this part the chisel. And obviously there's why. I'll review that again in case you've never seen any of my videos. Being that this is like a hammer, I can use this from a distance to come down on a collarbone, or even in close to come down on a collarbone. So you can hit collarbone, ribs, knee, hands, elbows, catch jointed areas to injure them. Obviously, if I go to the head, there's a strong possibility of killing this individual. So I don't want to do that unless my life was 100% on the line. I can also catch them in the groin. So think of it as a hammer. Even if you're in close and you happen to have it here, you can strike. The other end that I call a chisel. This has a nice little edge. So when I'm coming down with this part, unlike here where I'm hammering and I'm breaking bone, here I'm going to also be able to break bone, but I'm going to cut flesh. Yes, it sounds a little bit more harsh, but it's depending on the situation. I can come down on that collarbone, right in there. I can hit those ribs. This is going to go between two ribs. It's going to hurt. It's going to break a rib. I can catch the knee, injure that individual. I can turn it and catch the groin. Oh yeah, like a fish hook right up in there. It's going to hurt. So, and obviously, worst case scenario, the head. Now, the configuration right here, where you put your palm and you rest, makes a perfect striking pinpoint area. So if they're coming in, they feel punch, I redirect, I can hit to that throat. Depending on how much power and pressure I put, depends on how much damage I do. I just want to kind of get off, like if you gave them a little shot with your hand. Number two, I can catch the face right here. Boom. Granted, I could knock out teeth. I could break that nose, but I'm also going to, depends who that is. I can catch the ribs and move them back and hurt them. I can break a rib, obviously, if I go super hard. He's trying to kick, I catch the knee. Whether it's a double hand shot or even a single shot into that knee. Hit that knee, push his hand away, pop that elbow, pop that wrist. They make, this right here fits perfectly in rigid areas, jointed areas, when you need to do some shoving, pushing, or manipulating. Now, you don't have the horn that comes down. And you don't want to really go way out here with derby style because then it brings too much attention to the king. But this right here that's designed for my palm works perfect also with manipulation of the body. I can still hook ahead and bring that person to me. Remember, when you bring a person to you, you've got to have a plan. What are you going to do with them? If I hit that person and he starts to bend over, I hook that neck and then I can slam him to the floor, obviously. But understand, you can also use this to manipulate the joints. I can hook an arm and pull it. I can hook the elbow and pull it. I can come in, hook a knee from here and pull it. So I can do that. Smack them and yank at the leg, at the knee. So you can do quite a bit of manipulation with this. Now, on the back part of this one here, and this one here is the cherry one, that's octagonal. You're going to see it still has some of the ridges that come up here in the back side. So I'm not just smacking, because I can also smack like this. Besides catching them here, I can catch them. Go lightly on my jaw. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. I can catch them in the arms, anywhere with a strike, and it's not rounded, so I'm still going to get a bite out of that individual. So from there, he happens to grab hold of me, I come down and I hammer it. Boom, boom. I'm hitting that, and those ridges are still biting into them, and it hurts. If I want to move them, I turn it the other way, and I move them. So you do have, besides the capability of having this beautiful cane walking around, you now have a fully functional self-defense tool from far away to in close. You can do everything with this, from a two-hand bayonet strike to a single poke to a swing with the tip to a swing with the hammer and a hit with the chisel. Coming in, two-hand bayonet strike. Doesn't matter which end you use, you're going to find something to nail them with. In close, there's your rifle strike. And you have these little edges that are going to catch the face. So there's a lot you can do with this beautiful cane. And to answer Jeremy's question again, handmade by a master craftsman and who does phenomenal with building his canes, under $100, 85 bucks. Again, 1 pound, 1 ounce, cherry wood, light yet durable. So to answer that question, for under 100 bucks, this is my go-to derby style cane. DNR Woodworks, cherry wood, octagonal, beautiful walking cane. So hopefully that answers your question. I did want to show the capabilities of this cane as well. And it doesn't scream, oh my God, it's gonna kill me. It's just a very elegant walking cane. You're gonna get compliments on this cane. And the only reason anybody will know that it can be used for self-defense with all those techniques is whether you tell them or not. And you know what? Keep it quiet. That's for you to know when the time is needed. So Jeremy, I hope that answers your question. And I'll have DNR's information below if anybody's interested in a beautiful cane for under $100. He also has other ones. But the main question was under $100 that I like the most. And this is it. So hopefully that helps. Gary Hernandez, thank you. And I will see everybody real soon. Goodbye.